Hi everyone, this is Katie, and today I am doing a painting in my sketchbook. I was inspired to do this painting by a YouTuber I saw named Ruth Wilshaw. I saw her paint and I really liked the way she placed color down first and then tried to see the landscape within the shapes and the brush strokes she made on the paper. Creating a landscape, basically, from her imagination. So I wanted to give it a try for myself. I am using Himi gouache, or frequently called jelly gouache, which it's called jelly gouache because it comes in these square little cups that look like jelly. It is much thicker than the Caran d'Ache pan gouache that I have been using, but I like it, and it's a nice change and kind of feels more like acrylic paint versus watercolor. So I placed a bunch of color down on the paper. I did choose the spot that I wanted the sun to be and worked out from there and just put various shades of green and yellow and blue, making sure to put darker colors the further away from the sun. I did not have anything in particular in mind for this painting at this point other than some foliage and leaves and trees, but as far as the composition, I did not know which way it was going to go. At this point, I'm starting to put some silhouettes in, which is the way that Ruth Wilshaw did it. You look for shapes and then decide to put some silhouettes of something there. I started with some grassy leaves and bushy areas, and then I just went back and kept going in and seeing what I could see and just kind of defining things and placing things. And then I was placing some more silhouettes here in front of the one I already done. And the closer that you get to the front of the painting, the darker you're going to want to make your stuff. So to make it seem like you're pushing the stuff in the background behind you. I added this tree here on the side just because I felt like that would be a good way to frame the painting. And at this point, I still had no idea what I wanted the foreground of the painting to be, which I just felt like was a really cool way to paint, because usually I plan out my paintings so I know where everything's going to be, but it was kind of fun to just do it and see the painting evolve as time goes on. And the more things that I put in, then the more ideas I had to know which way to go forward. The sketchbook I'm using is a new one that I got. It's the Artica sketchbook. You can find it on Amazon, and it says it's only made for dry media, but I've seen other people use it with gouache and even watercolor, so I have been using some gouache in it well, this is my first time using gouache, and then I've used some watercolor in it, as you can see in the page before. And here's my cat Godzillaing across my painting. Luckily, he didn't step in any paint and spread it around, because that would have made me sad. But anyways, I did use some wet media in this sketchbook, and the pages do buckle a tiny bit, but it's not huge, so I feel like you can totally paint in this book, which I think I will be doing a lot of. So at this point I was starting to see that that highlighted spot reminded me of like a beach, kind of a little dirt spot or sand right in front of where some water would be. So here I decided to go in and try and define where maybe some water would be. And I did kind of struggle with the water. You'll see as the painting goes on, I painted it and then repainted it 3 or 4 times. But that just goes to show that if you put something down when you're painting, and you don't like it, just don't panic, because you can go over it again and again, and eventually you'll figure it out. You'll work it out in your mind, and you'll figure out what it is that you don't like. And though you might not ever get it perfect, you make improvements. So don't panic when things don't go the way you think they should. And so I am just going in and placing some more details to try and define the scene a little bit more. And as you can see, I'm back in the water now, and I totally mess it up again to where I don't like it, and then I end up redoing it, but that's okay. So just adding some highlights and shadows to this bush in the front. And here I'm back in the water, and I end up messing it up again. Just putting a little too much white up there at the top of the water. So I'll go back in and fix that again. And here I wanted to place in some particles, dust particles or magic particles. It was something I saw from Ruth Wilshaw's video. She did that and I just loved what it looked like. So I wanted to try that in my video. However, the more I placed, the more I thought it just looked like flowers. So it took me a while to figure out and get them so that they would look like what I wanted them to look like. But I do think I accomplished it in the end, and I think it adds some really nice feeling to the painting. Then back fixing the water again. I think this is the last time. And then here I am placing the last highlights on these trees, and I really liked how this looked. I feel like this just added a lot of depth, and I liked what this did to my painting. It's almost my favorite part, actually. And then the last thing I wanted to do was add some birds flying in the sky here. And I really like what those did for the painting as well. I'm very happy with how it turned out, and it was really fun to paint this way, and I feel like I made this from my imagination, and it's really cool. So, if you like what you see, check out my channel. I have other videos similar to this one, and I will see everyone next week. Thanks.